Let's move on to our next story about first love. Miss Tracey Starin is an amazing storyteller. She tells stories all over the world. She's been in the Risk Story Collider, which is very prestigious. And just one more thing, and she co-hosts an open mic at the Pine Box in Brooklyn, which is, just one more thing, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, just one more thing at the Pine Box in Brooklyn. And please welcome the amazing, talented Tracey Starin.
So, Lori and I had this routine that we did every afternoon. I would get the bathroom pass from our class, and I would walk down the hall to her classroom, and I would stand at just the right angle so that the teacher couldn't see me, but that she could. Sometimes it didn't work, and the teacher did see me and would slam the door in my face, and then the whole mission was aborted. And but if I did it right, I would wave until Lori would see me, and then I would scurry down the hall to the bathroom, and Lori knew to get the pass from her class and meet me in the bathroom. And that's what we would have a few minutes to discuss all the drama from that afternoon. And that's how we got through 6th grade without being in the same class. We had piloted the program in 5th grade, which was the first year that we weren't in the same class. Lori was my best friend ever since she sat across from me in kindergarten. From the minute we laid eyes on each other, we were soulmates. And our entire childhood, we were inseparable. Our parents used to say we were like Velcro together. So we did everything together. We learned how to roller skate together. We learned how to ride bikes together. We joined a Saturday morning youth bowling league together, even though neither one of us particularly liked either bowling or getting up early on Saturday morning, because we knew that if we started out Saturday morning at like a sanctioned activity, that meant we would probably get to spend the rest of Saturday together, sleep over one of our houses, and then spend all of Sunday together too. And it usually worked.
Nice.
Her family, we were smart even though we were. So her family were born again Christians, and so I spent a lot of my youth in born again Christian events. I attended church with them regularly. I went to vacation Bible school every summer. They took me on retreats with them, which were a lot of fun, even though it was so much praying. And I even went to a church youth group every other Friday for like my whole young life. And our parents were really good at facilitating this. They would just sort of, my parents and her parents would just sort of sweep the other one of us along with whatever they were doing. We were fixtures at each other's family houses and events. I went to her uncle's Super Bowl party every year. My parents brought her with us when we picked out our dog. So we were always singing and dancing and constantly laughing at endless chatter. And the overwhelming sentiment from all the adults in our lives was shh, which only made us laugh harder. And so it shouldn't be that big a shock looking back when our 4th grade teacher decided that we needed to be separated because we were a disruptive influence. But when we got our report card on the last day of school of 4th grade, and we saw our classroom assignments for the next year were different, it was like an apocalypse. We sobbed. Real tears. Our parents had to calm us down because we thought that was the end. We were being separated. But the first few weeks of 5th grade were tough. It was the first time I was walking into a classroom without her by my side. It was the first time I wasn't going to be able to pass her a note in class. The first time I wasn't going to be able to pretend to go to the water fountain in the back of class, but actually kneel down at her seat to tell her something, only to have our teacher go, excuse me, Miss Starin, could you please go back to your seat? But we could meet every morning at the entrance before they let us in, where there was much lip gloss applied and hair fluffing and rolling of eyes about parents and gossiping about boys. We always spent lunch together, just like we always had. We piloted the bathroom program for the afternoon, and of course we ran right into each other's arms as soon as school was over. But then her father started to talk about moving the family to Texas by the end of the year. This was 1985. There was no FaceTime, there was no email, there were no text messaging. It was writing letters and sparingly using very expensive long-distance phone calls. So we huddled in her bedroom and we cried. And we talked about maybe I could spend summers with her in Texas, maybe she could spend school vacations with me in New York. Children had absolutely no power at that time. So we waited with dread and fear, but as the months wore on, talk of moving to Texas kind of faded, and at the end of the year it didn't come to pass. So we had made it through that. 6th grade came, it was our last year of elementary school, and we attacked it with the confidence of seniors. We had a blast. We had our bathroom program where we were meeting every afternoon. We had a good time with all of our friends. Then Laura's father started to talk about moving the family upstate. More huddling, more crying, more plans. But again, didn't come to pass. We had a great summer. We started junior high school. Junior high school was a revelation for us. No more parents driving us to school. We could walk there. We changed classes and every class, changed rooms every class, so we could meet in between classes all day long. We learned how to cut school and sneak off to the mall and sneak cigarettes behind the handball court. We had a huge group of friends. It was a nonstop party. And then in 8th grade, Laura's father started to talk about moving them to Long Island. We didn't pay any attention to it. We'd been through this shit before. He was full of baloney. They weren't going anywhere. We know it. And we continued to have a blast. And then the house was bought. And the moving date was set. And they started to pack the house. And so that summer after 8th grade, which was full of so many parties and so many friends and so much laughter, was also filled with so many lasts. The last time we would go to the mall together, the last time we would get a slice of pizza together, the last time we would sleep over each other's houses. Moving day was my first day of high school. The first day I would walk into a school without her. I was terrified. My school, first of all, in Ridgewood, Queens, did not have a great reputation. And I was going to be there alone. And I couldn't even keep my mind on school because all I could think about was her moving. I was supposed to go over to her house when school was over so that I could say goodbye. And that day ended and I raced over to her house. But it was dark and locked and empty. I went home, I threw myself on the bed. We were never going to see each other again. My friend was gone. And I sobbed and I sobbed and I sobbed. My mother tried to calm me down, but I was inconsolable. This relationship that had been so important to me was over and I didn't have the tools to handle it. And then the Pink Princess phone on my nightstand rang. I picked it up. Hey, my dad has to come back to the house to pick some things up. You want him to pick you up too? My bag was packed before her sentence was over. Her first night in her new house was my first night there too.
Tracey Starin, everybody. You ever look up your old friends from grade school and high school on the internet and see what they're doing?
No.
I do it all the time. And they're all doctors and lawyers. I never want to get in touch with them.